What's up, YouTube? We're back again. Let's hear me here. And this week we're going to be talking about the multi-time frame analysis and how to carry it out like a pro. Shout out to everyone in the community. I really am overwhelmed by the love, and I read through the comment. I see you guys, and that's the reason why I'm making this video, because everyone seemed to wanted me to make this video. It's right here today. So I want you guys to spend every minute of your time glued to the screen, because this is going to be profound and powerful. And I hope by the end of this video, someone find it really helpful and it can help someone level up their trading. Let's go. So guys, let's get straight into today's video. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to carry out multi-time frame analysis like a pro. Everything in forex market that generates consistent results is actually not just a bunch of random knowledge. If it generates consistent result, that means there's a law behind it. So everything everyone does consistently that generates consistent result has a law to it. And multi-time frame analysis is no exception. I've seen a lot of people do multi-time frame analysis in different ways, in different areas. But today I'm going to put perspective into it, provided that you are a multi-time frame analysis. So I'm going to give you a practical step on how to carry out multi-time frame analysis, and we're going to do just that on the live chart. We're going to do live analysis immediately right after. So the first thing, there are so many steps to multi-time frame analysis actually. So the first thing you want to do when you're trading a multi-time frame analysis is to go to the higher time frame. Go to the higher time frame. Give me a second. Go to the higher time frame. Go to the higher time frame. And what do you do on the higher time frame? Finding the major trend. Okay, that's the first thing you want to do when you get on your chart. So after finding your major trend, what's the next thing you want to do? You want to be able to identify your value areas or your areas of interest. This is the next thing. So when you identify area of interest in the market, the next thing of the higher time frame that you want to do after finding this area of interest is now what? Is now relapse back. Now, this is when you now come back, come down to the lower time frame to amplify this, the behavior of prices in relation to the areas of value or area of interest. So that's an abbreviation for that, right? So you come back to that. So after this, what do? The next thing you do after coming down to the lower time frame, understand the behavior of prices in relation to this area of interest is very simple. The next thing you do is just be patient. This is very key, and I'm going to write it in bold letter. Be patient and wait. Be patient, sorry. Be patient and wait for entry confirmation, right? After that, the next thing you do is execute on risk management. Look how I'm being very specific on executing on risk management. Of course, you pick your exit, right? Pick your exit, execute on risk management, and pick your exit. Okay. Then the next thing is what? Manage your trade. Manage your trade, different techniques to managing trade. For me, I love to put my stop loss behind every highs and lows. And, simple. You repeat. And you repeat the process over and over again. You go on the next trade trade after taking your profit. Go again, right? Go again to the higher time frame. All right. Identify the major trend, identify the value area, come down to the lower time frame, see the behavior of prices in relationship to this area of value, see if it's going to reject it or it's going to break it. That is where you're going to find your trade opportunity. Then be patient and wait to see if it's going to break this area of value or area of interest. If it breaks it, in the case of a buy, you buy above. If it's a case of a sell, you sell below. If it rejects it, what do? You sell it in case of a buy. If it's in case of a sell, you buy it back, right? It's that simple. Execute on risk management. After you see a buy trade opportunity, many mistakes a lot of traders do is they do not execute on risk management. So it gives them out to emotional induced error. That's a subject for another day that I'm going to be talking about, right? Later on in subsequent videos, right? So after that, then when you get into your trade, you don't have any control over your trade again. What do you do as the market gives you profit to manage your trade? So everything I've written right here is what I am gonna show you guys on the live chat. So let's get to the live chat. Let's get straight into it. So as y'all know, I trade GJ alone, and the first thing I love to do when I'm on the trade, like I said, based on everything I've written, is identify the major trend. So let us identify this major trend. So what do we have right here? I have price starting from this low. It's very obvious, right, that price is moving on a uptrend. It's very simple. Characterized by what? You can see low, 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 lows, and a very strong low right here that rejected once, rejected twice, rejected the third time, rejected the fourth time, and made a very strong rejection right here, right? And since then, price has hit this peak right here. And this has been the highest point the price reached. So what does that tell me? Price is on a uptrend. Price is on a uptrend. But one thing we can see right here, the price, this is the most significant low right here. The price is at, and you can see price actually go to this high right here, and price rejected this high. So I have a range that I'm going to trade. So what does that mean? That means all this range right here is the area I'm interested in right as of now. Okay, so now the price is doing that. One thing I like to see again. Now, this is the point where I identify my area of value. Now, what have I done? Identify my first area of value, identify my second area of value, because this is the whole resistance and this is the major support that sent price to this whole resistance. That's the first things first. It puts things in perspective. So what's the next thing I want to see? I want to identify more area of value. So how do I get the area of value? I want to look at areas where price has actually rejected in different time within this range, right? So first of all, I saw like resistance right here. I saw price made a resistance right here, but price broke this resistance right on this level, but it could not break below this low, right? A broke this resistance again, it could not break below this low, but you can see the after price now broke above this point right here, it came back to retest this area of resistance, all this area of resistance. Then price came back right here after retesting this level right here, it closed back above this level, and all of these are weak area, and you can see price now continue further to after it hit the highest point. Look at price coming back to retesting this point. Now what does this tells me? This tells me that's an area of interest. So what do? you actually identify it out. If don't worry, if you have an issue identifying this area of interest out, just put on your line chart right here on the MT4. I use the MT4 to analyze, put on the line chart on trading view. I know you have that option as well, so you can see things very clearly, and the noise are being filtered out. Do you see the resistance? Do you see the support right here? Do you see the support right here? So what does this mean? Putting things into perspective. So before, I had all these ranges to deal with. So let me use this, right? So before, I had all these ranges to deal with before, but now that I've identified this area of value, I have just these ranges to deal with. So my area of concentration, right, on the chart is actually on this. Remember, I'm still on the weekly time frame. Beautiful. So now that we have it all together, you can see everything I've done has been understanding the trend and identifying the area of value for me, right? So this has been amazing, right? So what do? I relapse down to the smaller time frame. So what do I do on the smaller time frame? Let's get back to the whiteboard to help us out on the next thing we have to do. I want you guys to see for yourself. The next thing after, okay, I've identified my value area. This is the point where I now come back to this lower time frame right here and amplify the behavior of prices in relation to the area of value. So let's go back to the chart. So what area of value do I have as the most recent recent area of value? It's definitely this area. And what is the behavior of price at this area of value, right? I can see price coming in on a support right at this level. Okay. And after price hits support, price make a push and start to go to the upside. So that's very perfect. So this is the point where I drop down to the daily time frame. Okay, so on the daily time frame, all I want to see on the daily time frame is to amplify further and understand if there are more added value areas I could, add to the market. So now let's look at it, right? Remember, we said our area of concentration has now been from this level to this level. And this level being the highest point where price got to after price rejected off this level, and this level as the new point of previous area of value point where price has been rejecting to. So what do we have? I have price rejecting between two levels, basically this level right here and this level, and I want to understand what price is going to do. So now let's read the direction of the daily trend. Everything we're doing is telling the story of the trend and what had happened, right? So in reading the direction of the daily trend, what do we have? I have a situation where price, I have a situation right here where price, after rejecting the low, it started to move on higher high, higher low, higher high. You can see the lower high, the lower low, sorry, the lower high, and this seemed to be a low. And we seem to have a lower high forming right on the market. So now that we seem to have a lower high forming on the market, now what does that mean? That means that it's really very, very safe for us to actually check in and understand the direction of the trend, and maybe we can identify a value area right here. So the first thing I want us to see is that when price was rejecting off this level, we started to reject at the 61.8 level, right? You can see the 61.8 level right on this point, right? And after price left it, let's bring it out. Price has been dropping right to this level, and price seems to be retracing back up. So now what does it mean? We have a very strong area right here, which is an area of potential 61.8, not just an area of potential 61.8 alone, but we also have an area of what the previous support, and price, you can see support and price seem to be coming to this level right here. So what does this mean? So this means we're going to bring that we're going to bring our area our horizontal support and resistance out. So what does this mean? Do you see right now that we now have an area of interest again right here? So now, having amplified this is telling us something really incredible, that price, now let's make up the story, right? So that means on the weekly time frame, all price was doing was rejecting this level right here. So price rejected this level right here only to get to this resistance, and ever since then price has been retracing on the lower lows, lower high, lower lows, back to this key level, and price is moving on a new lower high. Do you understand? So now let's bring it back to the daily time frame. So tell the story again, right? Price. Let's tell the story again, right? Okay. So price has been moving on a higher high, higher low from this low point to a high, and price has been moving on a lower low, lower high, and a low to this next level of interest right here. And what we see the price is doing now is making a lower high to this level. Now, when price makes this lower high to this level, we have a previous area of support turn into resistance at an area of 61.8 Fibonacci that we identified right here. The 61.8 Fibonacci right here. So now the price is doing that. We understand clearly that on daily time frame, price is wet on actually sorry. So we understand something, that price has been on the lower high structure. Okay, price has been on a lower high structure. Now, is this level going to reject price? We actually do not know. But one thing we know now for sure is that we can now streamline our area of focus. So remember that before we said price is focusing on this level to this level. Now, I think we have something new right now, which is price focusing on this level right here. So we know something for sure. The price has two things, two distinctive things, right? Is either price actually come back to this level, reject and get back down, or price breaks this to the upside and continue to get back to the upside. Two things, two case scenario. Notice how I've been analyzing without no bias, right? I'm only working with the story of the market, right? So now that we have this in game, it's because because price has been coming on lower lows, lower high, lower low, lower high. It's safe to say I could actually look if I could find a trend line opportunity, right? So we have the touch one, touch two. You know, if you've not watched the, if you don't understand how to chart the trend line, you're watching this for the first time, you're gonna see the link above, right? I made a video on trend line, and you can actually watch it right there. So we have touch two, and price might be coming to this touch three or around this level or whatever price does, right? So what I'm doing now is now going back to the lower time frame. I'm still on the face of me going back to the lower time frame or 4 hour time frame, because right here, I know definitely something's going to happen right here. And I don't know when it's going to happen. And this is the point where I need to wait. Two things are going to happen. Is either price tank to the upside, reject, and continue to go continue to go to the upside to retest that high, or price tanks to the downside and continue tanks to the downside, giving some reaction right here and continue to the sell. Either of this level, I'm prepared for it. I'm neither bullish or bearish. I'm only being reactive to what the market has to do. So in this case, I love to call myself a chameleon. I'm either bullish, I'm either bearish. I'm just in between. I assume any color I want to. So now let's go to the 4 hour time frame to amplify things even much more better. Now we seem to have a bias right now, and with this bias that we have right now, this is now when we have to be extremely more patient, because this is the phase where the actual trading starts. The actual trading is not the analytical phase, it's actually in the entry phase, because if you don't put either your buy or your sell, your money is not at risk. So you want to make sure that you put everything, every parameters into consideration before you execute your trade. So now this is looking very beautiful, right? So the first thing I want us to see is to see the behavior of the market in relationship to this key value area. Remember what I said on the whiteboard. Let's go back to the whiteboard, right? Remember what I said on the whiteboard. I said, come down to the lower time frame to amplify the behavior of prices in relation with the area of value or area of interest. So what is the area of value or interest that we're working with right now? Okay, guys, what's the area of value or interest that we are working with right now? Is actually this spot right here. Price has reacted to this area of value signified by a buy, and price on a new area of value. We don't know if price is going to break it higher to this point right here, or price is going to come back lower and come back to the next area of value. So what we're simply doing is what? Amplifying on the 4 hour time frame to see the behavior of prices around these areas of value. So the first thing I would like to see is the behavior of prices. So how do I want to gauge the behavior of prices? I want to see how the market has behaved since price has left this point, right? So what has price done? Since price had left this point right here, this price at latest point right here, what has price been doing, right? Price has been moving on a higher low, higher low. You can see the next higher low right here, and this has been the last higher low right here. So it tells me that price is on a retracing, uptrend for the interim. So what do I do right here? I bring up my trend line. Like I said again, if you have not watched the trend line, you could go back. I'm still gonna add the card again. You can check the link above, right? You can see it right now. So what do I have in my golden rule to trend line? Number one, the first touch. Number two, the second touch, establishment stage. You can see the first break right here. Then we have a confirmation state right here, and price has been moving. So what does this mean? This means this is the last touch right here at the last previous low, right? When you bring this to the left side, you can see area of previous resistance, we can see it broke a bit and now respecting back on this level. So we have a very clear understanding of what price is doing. So on the 4 hours time frame, just merely looking at the 4 hours, now I'm now having an area of confirmation, right? So what's my area of confirmation? Number one, if price should break back below this level and give me a retest, I'm going to be selling. If price should break above this trend line right here, give me a retracement back, I'm going to be buying. But when you look at prices, price looks like this level is a very strong level of resistance because previous area of support and Fibonacci, and you have the trend line around that area. So it's a very, 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 very interesting one. You got to be careful. So I take my entry on the 1 hour or the 30 minutes, right? In this case, I'm going to be using the 1 hour. So on the 1 hour, what am I going to be doing? What I'm waiting for on the 1 hour is what? Simple. I'm waiting to see the behavior of prices in relationship to this level. Is it going to get to this point, tap below, give me a retest, and to the downside? If price gives me a retest, I'm going to find my entry right here, put my stop loss right here, and write it down. But let me make it clearer. So now on the 1 hour time frame, I'm very sure the fact that if price comes to the downside, I'm going to be taking my profit right here on this level. I really do not need price to get, back to this as much as this level. This is a golden rule in trading, right? Don't try to make all the money off the table. If you try to make the money off the table, you guys can recount how many times you put your take profit at the key level and expect the market to get there, only for market to get almost there and reverse against you. Man, just the goal is for you to just get out of the market at the easiest spot out. And where's the easiest spot out in this case scenario is this level, because this level right here is where the previous area of the most significant support is. So you could take your profit right here if you're going to be selling to the downside. So we've already understood where we're going to be selling to. The only thing that's remaining for us is actually to find the entry. Okay, so how are we going to find the entry? It's very simple. Like I said, we wait to see how price is going to break, right here. If price breaks and give us a retest, then we can actually find an entry right on this level and put a stop loss right above this level, because if price breaks this previous support right here, if price should break this previous support right here, there's tendency for price to come back, retest it, and continue. Upon price finding us a continuation, we can actually find at on stop loss somewhere around this point and put it on by about 72 pips and make about 450 pips, which is about 1:6, right? And now this is now left up to you to actually now say, what, I risk 3% on my account, right? How do I use how do I convert the 76 pips potential? I'm just giving out an hypothetical figure, right? That let's say finally our stop loss is right at this point right here, and it's 76 pips. How can I convert it to 3-4% of my account as we got the case? I do not recommend you risking beyond 3-4% of your account per trade at the most, right? So how do I do it? There's a skill in forex trading we call the position sizing, right? It's under my risk management course. And if you really want to understand that, because many people have some of the best analysis, best trade entry in the world, but they mess it up by emotionally induced error, which is what, because their position is either too bigger than what they can bear, and it makes them act on emotion, and any little retracement in the market would get them under their skin, and they're gonna get emotional. There's actually a way and science to deal with that, right? So I recommend you can click the link on the description of my Telegram channel, join my Telegram channel, contact me, sign up for mentorship. You have the full course on trading psychology, on risk management, and technical as a whole, right? This looks easy, The goal is to make it easy, and it's even way more easier in my academy, right? So I recommend you guys to join if you are finding it hard to, succeed in Forex. And trust me, Forex is way easier than you think. So, and you can see I've never used any indicator. All I do is understand the flow of the market, understand the direction of the market. And trust me, it's as easy as it is, but you need someone to guide you on it, right? So the point I'm trying to say is you can click on the link in subscription, you can contact me, and I can help you out with any difficulty you have in Forex trading. So now what are we waiting for, right? We're now on the 1 hour time frame. On the 1 hour time frame, we already have the area of interest, like I said, that we're trading. So our focus actually on now is that we want to be able to take advantage of whatever happens between this point to this point, right? And we want to make full advantage of it, but we have to be patient, right? Remember, I told you guys we are going to get to the phase of patience. So let's get back to the whiteboard real quick. On the whiteboard, what you can see right here is that be patient and wait for entry confirmation, right? And execute on risk management and manage your trade. So literally that's everything I've just explained right here. So the first thing you have to do is to be very, very patient, see what the market is going to do. You could wait for even 1-2 days to find one of the best and quality trade, right? See what the market is going to do in relation to this level. The moment price break this counter trend line and it breaks below this level, wait for a pullback, right? So that your risk reward can be good. As markets start to move back, to this level, you can actually find your entry upon confirmation, put your stop loss right somewhere around this point, and take a TP for a very beautiful 1/6 point, whatever it is. So just to refresh your mind, you can see how at number one went to the higher time frame. Let's go back to the whiteboard so that I could do a summary of this, right? So you can see how I went to the higher time frame right here. You can see to find a major trend. You can see how I'm able to identify my key value area from the weekly time frame, even down to the daily time frame. You can see how I came back to my 4 hours and 1 hour time frame respectively to see the behavior of prices in relation with this area of interest or area of value. And you see how I open room for being patient to see what my entry confirmation is going to be like. And you can see how I spoke on executing on risk management, which I told you guys about, the position size and skill, which is a whole science on risk management on its own. And I encourage you guys to literally, you don't have to even come to me. Just go find a mentor that can teach you in the best way you can understand, but you need it, right? Because like I said, you can have the best trade, a trade that you're supposed to make money and you end up losing money. Many of you guys watching this video can relate to it. These are what we call emotionally induced error that stems from poor risk management and lack of understanding of risk management. A good setup, a good trade doesn't mean you're going to make money off of it, right? So you need to understand that. And the last thing is what? Managing your trade. So let's say, for example, so let's get back to the chart so that I can round up. So let's say, for example, right, price start to move in my favor. Definitely, what do you expect? You expect price to actually keep dropping. It's not going to be moving straight, keep dropping. And how do I manage my trade? I put my stop loss behind every lower high it forms until price gets to my take profit. And this is exactly how to trade and do your multi-time frame analysis like a pro. So if you enjoy this video, you can join my Telegram, you can send in your questions. If I'm available, I'm going to answer your questions. If you love this video, you can like, you can share, you can subscribe, you can ask your questions from the comment section below, drop a comment. Let me know if you want more of this video, tell me if this has helped you see the market differently. You don't need an indicator in the forex market. All you need is to understand the flow of the market. And trust me, trading can get way more easier. So thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys on the next video.